Hello, this is Joel Margolis of Adapt Productions of Chicago. We're here outside the office of the Illinois Department of Human Services at 401 South Clinton on Friday afternoon. Amongst those here today, although not limited to them, are AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, as well as SEIU, the Service Employees International Union. I have also been told that there are representatives from ADAPT, the Disability Rights Advocacy Group. Okay? With them is a musical group called Queen and Zinga's Brigade. You already heard some of their drums.
I'm protesting for my job. I'm trying to keep my job, my home care job.
And your health care job is you are
at Addis Home Care.
Your work for DOORS, Department
of Human Service, and I work for Addis in Homewood.
And you're protesting the fact that your job may be cut out?
Cut out, and I'm protesting for my raises.
And you're also wanting a raise from the state of Illinois?
Yes.
Okay. Now, many people who are aware that the state of Illinois is under extreme financial pressures, many of them might say to you, the state cannot afford to give a raise. What would you say to those people?
Pay their fair share of taxes. Pay their taxes.
Incredible. What they're doing is illegal. The proposed rules that they have, and I have some documentation if you want to see it, makes it, they throw people off all the services, and they're trying to change the rules so you can't get back on. They're trying to do this behind the scenes. We talked about it in October. Nobody's heard anything since, and it's just totally overwhelming to me. And people are falling off the grid, people are dying with homelessness, not getting their food, they're not getting their health services, and I tell you, we got to stop it now.
Something that you all are probably very familiar with is the overtime rules.
Right.
That he has portrayed as the DHS is trying to put a 40-hour cap on workers' time. This hurts both workers who are good workers for people with disabilities. Yeah, if they want to help more people, then let them. Don't put a cap on them. Pay fair wages. And this will only cost $15 million, which is chump change to the state. This also hurts people with disabilities who will not be able to get the services they need from the providers they want, from providers they trust, from their parents or family members. So with that, thank you very much for being here.
That was Ryan McGraw of ADAPT of Chicago, himself a disabled person and very much a spokesperson for the disabled. Ryan, there are many disabled people who do have a home care worker for more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah, whether that be a family member, whether that be one person they trust, workers who work for more than one person, like say 20 hours or 30 hours for another, are gonna have to choose who they're gonna have to work for. So this is unfair. Workers have to have a fair wage, and people with disabilities who need personal assistance should have the right to choose whoever they want working for him. They shouldn't have to decide. They shouldn't have to be forced to hire more people.
And if this overtime pay for home care workers providing services to the disabled, if DHS succeeds in eliminating this, that would reduce the amount of service giving to disabled people currently living independently. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if the level of service giving to those living independently who are disabled is cut substantially, what will happen to some of those disabled people?
They're gonna have to be forced to live in nursing homes.
And give up their independent living?
Yeah, if nursing homes are basically like prisons, they don't have choices in nursing homes. They are told what to do. Living in the community, they have a right to make their own choices. In nursing homes, they don't have that choice.
If I hear you correctly, in addition to continuing the overtime service, you're saying that there's an important principle right here, which is disabled people, like other people, should have the right of choice. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, where they're human beings, everyone has that right. Disabled people are human beings.
And I think you've just gone right to the heart of the issue. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
Right. Next up, Elijah Edwards, Human Services caseworker and Vice President of AFSCME Local 2858.
And we're now going to hear from Elijah Edwards, a human service worker who is a representative of AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees.
Looks like. That's right. The people are democracy, not a rich bunch of billionaires.
Right.
My name is Elijah Edwards. I'm a human service caseworker. I work for the Department of Human Services. I've been doing it for about 10 years. And I'm the Vice President, as Fran said, of AFSCME Local 2858. And our members are here today. AFSCME is here today. NCIU is here today because we're standing up for the people and the community of this state. We have a governor who was, how should I say, like the stormy weather, had a cloud and a shadow cast over the state. And based on the situation that he has us in, the state hasn't had a budget in almost a year. Because he wants his way. He doesn't want to fund public services. He wants to privatize public services because he believes that they should be the tools of profits for his friends like Ken Griffin, who can spend $500 million on 2 paintings. That's right. You're right to boo him. Because he doesn't think that you count. He doesn't think that we count, and we're here today to show him different. And because of the task-based system that has been imposed by the agency that I'm with, They want to take away the human out of human services. Well, a while ago, on the anniversary of this coming Monday, there'll be an anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, and last time I checked in Memphis, he died fighting for the rights of people to be human. He died for the rights of people to have collective bargaining. So it's befitting today that we're standing here speaking truths of power and telling them that, no, you can't just roll over us. No, we will shut this state down. No, you cannot tell us how our lives are just a statistic.
That's right.
So we're here to tell DHS, we're here to tell their leader, Governor Rauner, we're here to tell every person that's in the sound of our voices and collectively here today that we stand for human services. We stand for funding. We stand for legislation and politicians that fight for the people, not for profit, not for contractors, not for discrimination. So in closing, I'll say this. I was told a long time ago that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. If you don't stand up for your rights, if you don't stand up and speak truth to power, because a lot of times power don't want to hear truth. Because power sometimes is corrupt, and as we know, this governor is corrupt. We see now that power corrupts absolutely, including those who ushered him into office. And I'm speaking about people like Meeks. I'm speaking about people like Ken Duncan. I'm speaking about people like... Thank you, sister. I'm speaking about people like Corey Brooks. So you don't stand on the shoulders and the faith of individuals and turn and use it against them. So we stand here today collectively and will be in support of CTU downtown at the Thompson Center, so I hope to see you all there. And again, stand for human services. We need you too. Thank you.
And you have just heard the strongly spoken words of Elijah Edwards of FSCB.
And now we're going to be marching along, joining with other groups, other activists, who all demand that it's time to put people before profit.
As you heard, one of the leaders of the group said in no uncertain terms that the group will now be marching. They're going to be heading east on Van Buren Street and then marching north to the Thompson Center. If you can hear the background, the Queen and Zinger Brigade is providing a steady drumbeat as this clearly strongly motivated crowd sets off, leaving the location of the DHS office at 401 South Clinton and marching towards the Thompson Center in the heart of the Loop on this, a Friday afternoon, as we now approach the classic Friday afternoon rush hour period. This is Joel Margolis for ADAPT Productions, speaking to you from the Illinois Department of Human Services headquarters at 401 South Clinton in Chicago. This is Joel Margolis continuing our coverage on Friday afternoon, April 1st, now of multiple demonstrations. I'm speaking to you from the Thompson Center on West Randolph near Clark Street, where behind me are not only members of those demonstrating for the rights of the disabled on behalf of cuts in DHS, but also behind me are Chicago teachers protesting the policies of the Chicago Public Schools Board and its planned reductions. Also behind me are protesters protesting proposed cuts in the Chicago city colleges. Standing behind me, therefore, is a multiplicity of groups all protesting budget cuts in the public sector in one way or another, be it City of Chicago or State of Illinois. And although this is April 1st and April Fool's Day, by the size of the crowd and by the volume level of the voices behind me, you can tell this is definitely not an April Fool's joke. This is a serious demonstration, and there are hundreds of people out here. We're standing in the midst of this demonstration at the Thompson Center on Friday, April 1st, which has turned into a true mass demonstration. The speaker you hear in the background is now articulating the names of all the organizations participating. She has already named more than 20 organizations, and she is rolling onward. The crowd here today is easily more than 1,000 people. Members of the Chicago Teachers Union, the SIEU, Service Employees International Union, DADAPT of Chicago, teachers unions from other cities, state employees, a whole variety of not-for-profit organizations literally filling the Thompson Center, even though it has begun to lightly rain and the temperature is clearly dropping. This is a serious and massive demonstration.
School Education Association, Northeastern University, Illinois.
We're from ADAPT Productions of Chicago, the television show produced entirely by disabled people about the world of the disabled and disadvantaged. May I ask your first name and with what organization you've come today?
My name is Kelsey. I'm a resident of Logan Square, and I attend school in Chicago. I go to Columbia, which I believe isn't unionized, but I definitely feel strongly about public education because it's given me, my education, and I think that's something that everybody needs, and it's something that shouldn't be a question. It should just be an institution. It should be something that the government handles.
Are you yourself a graduate of Chicago Public Schools?
No, I'm from Wisconsin, and I was going to school there during our recall, which I'm still sad about, but definitely supporting union organization and just people's right to have their say.
Now, many people would say that the state of Illinois is in such bad financial condition that cuts in a variety of areas are inevitable. There simply is no money to pay for this wide variety of human and educational services. What would you say to those people?
Where's the money going?
Where is what money going?
The money that we pay with taxes, if it can't go to education, it's going somewhere else, and I don't believe that there isn't money for it.
Do you think that there are ways that the state of Illinois could raise more revenue?
By taxing fairly, based on income and based on these businesses that have insane profit margins. You can't have big business or anything without smart people. So,
in some countries abroad, marijuana has been legalized, is regulated by the state, and is taxed heavily to raise revenues. Would you be in favor of a proposal to legalize marijuana and tax it heavily to help subsidize public services?
It's a really complicated issue, and I don't think it could happen overnight for sure, but I think that going about it in an educated way and just definitely dealing with people who are studying this from a non-biased point of view and working something out. I think it could be a solution, but it's not something to look at flippantly.
I understand. It's something that will require serious study. Thank you for speaking with us, and good luck in your educational progress. We're standing literally in the middle of Clark Street. I'm facing south from Randolph. We are now off the sidewalk of the Thompson Center. The crowd has spilled over into Randolph Street. There are dozens of people all around me, literally standing in the street, all of them from one organization or another, all part of this massive April 1st demonstration.
Good, thanks.
Are you yourself a teacher in the Chicago Public Schools?
Yeah.
And why are you out here today specifically? What do you hope to accomplish?
I'm hoping that
that there's more funding for education, that they can find ways to get more money for our students.
Now, many people would say that the city of Chicago is in such dire financial straits, there simply is impossible to bring extra revenue to bear on the schools. What would you say to those people?
That if we don't fund education, we're not funding our future.
I think we hear you loud and clear. Thank you. We are now standing in the middle of Randolph Street. I'm facing west, and our cameras are picking up the size of this crowd, which is now completely filled Clark Street from Randolph North. Traffic on Randolph behind me to the east is completely blocked off, even though this is the Friday afternoon rush hour. The crowd here has definitely risen to more than 1,000. Difficult to estimate, but it's entirely possible that there are now several thousand people here representing a multiplicity of groups. The Chicago Public Schools teachers, home health care workers for the disabled, service workers of a variety of sort, all of them protesting proposed budget cuts in public services, and as you hear from our interviews, almost all of them saying there is money to pay for these services if priorities were different. Directly in front of us is literally a phalanx of Chicago police officers standing in a horizontal row against a metal screening, all of them facing north towards the crowd, their line stretching for easily 75 or 100 feet from east to west, but so far all of them simply standing and monitoring. We see none of the police moving forward or moving into the crowd at this point. We're now walking east on the north side of Randolph, coming from LaSalle Street. We are now at the moment outside the crowd itself, gradually moving towards it, gradually approaching its fringe. It is impossible to distinguish the various organizations separately within the crowd. The various groups have merged into one enormous crowd. The teachers union, the SEIU, the representatives of ADAPT, the representatives of service employees unions from other counties or other cities, all have merged into one enormous crowd, which we are now entering from its western edge. Gradually, the density begins to thicken, as you can see. A variety of faces are around us. White, black, brown, yellow. It is an enormously diverse crowd, and although it is now literally beginning to rain, we see no sign of the crowd dispersing as yet. On the contrary, the mass of people appear to be standing where they are, some of them moving around the edge, but the heart of the crowd remaining very much fixed in place and listening to a variety of speakers, all pounding on this one theme, that this crowd will not accept public sector budget cuts, will not accept reduction in services to the disabled and the disadvantaged, will not accept cuts that they feel are to the detriment of the city's public school students. The message of the crowd is very clear. They want to see different priorities in the state of Illinois, the Cook County, and the city of Chicago spending. We are now in the midst of this teeming crowd. We are on the north side of Randolph, attempting to move eastward through a crowd which has reached a sizable density indeed. It's raining, but we see no sign of people leaving. On the contrary, they are standing where they are or moving slightly, many of them facing the front, clearly listening to the variety of speakers who are hammering home the point that the people assembled here today are dramatically opposed to budget cuts for human services in the public sector. Moving towards Clark Street, going east, you see the density of the crowd does not let up. Okay? There are clearly several thousand people massed here. This is hardly a small demonstration. Okay?
Yeah, there's some really good signs.
From the edge of the crowd at the Thompson Center on Friday afternoon, April 1st. As we proceed to now close our coverage of this event, we want to report that the crowd here at the Thompson Center remains several thousand people strong. Members of the Chicago Teachers Union, members of the Service Employees International Union, members of a whole variety of workers' organizations, concerned citizens, community groups, neighborhood organizations, you name it, they're all out here today protesting a wide variety of cuts in public sector budgets, cuts to a variety of human and educational services. The temperature is in the 40s on this April 1st, a Friday afternoon, and it's now raining. But the size of the crowd is not diminished. On the contrary, even as we may be prepared to end our coverage, the crowd has now completely filled the intersection of Randolph and Clark Streets, spilling out from Thompson Plaza to literally fill of all of Randolph Street and all of Clark Street up to the south side of Randolph, with traffic to the east on Randolph completely blocked off. This has been a major demonstration of a multiplicity of groups with a wide variety of speakers, all clearly targeting the same goal. They do not want to see budget cuts to a variety of human and educational services. Although this may be April 1st, it's very clear this was not an April Fool's Day joke, but a very serious demonstration. This is Joel Margolis signing off for Adapt Productions of Chicago, your television show produced entirely by the disabled and covering the world of the disabled, the disadvantaged, and social welfare interviews in general. Thank you for joining us. Please join us again. Goodbye.